everyone, this is my reaction video to the first time ever of using chocolate chalk, invented by Dr.Trina Wiggins. She was a guest on the Circuspreneur podcast. Please go to the link in my bio to listen to her episode as she talks about her entire journey of inventing chocolate chalk. I'm so excited to try this product. It's so amazing. It also, comes in like a little bag that's super cute with like all of the packets inside of it. And it's got all of her branding on it so that you can check it out. Follow the link, please, in this post so that you can stay up to date with all things chocolate chalk. And this is a fantastic product. I think, again, it's so innovative. It's the first of its kind. She's the patent holder of chocolate chalk. And even though it's chocolate chalk made for all skin tones, particularly this brown girl, it is for, again, all skin tones, meaning the entire range. And so I have all of the different samples here of the different shades that I want to show you of the chocolate chalk. They have produced blonde chocolate, which is fantastic. There is caramel chocolate. You see that? Just so cool. Cinnamon chocolate, which is one of the skin tones I'm going to try first. And then there is the mocha chocolate, which I am also going to try. Those two are like the great combination for my skin tone. And then there is espresso chocolate, which is so fantastic. So you see there's like this really cool range, and I'm so excited to try it on my solo hand balancing canes and to see how it feels. I'm trying two of the different versions because as a brown girl, we have different skin tones throughout the year and depending on what kind of makeup we're wearing. And so even right now, I'm kind of coming off of like my summer skin tone, which is usually projected darker because I get a lot of fabulous sun and I love it. And then I start to lighten up throughout the year. So that's why I wanted to try the two tones to see which one. And then obviously it comes down to lighting. I don't have like the most professional, like exaggerated lighting in this video, but it's pretty good. And so I hope that it gives, like a really nice feedback of what the chocolate chalk looks like on my skin tone, and then it gives you ideas for maybe the versions of chocolate chalk that you would like to try in your circus training or in your gymnastics training or in your climbing or in your physical therapy or your weightlifting. Like there's just such a variety of different exercises and movements that her invention, chocolate chalk, can be used inside of. And again, so innovative. I have, wanted to see something like this for years, and it wasn't until, I met Dr.Trina Wiggins that, I was like, wow, someone finally did it, where, we've all been covered in this, like, very white chocolate. It's like some kind of, interesting tone, which we love to talk about, where it's like, who does it match? Because I've seen it on every single skin tone for years and years and years. So it's so cool that there is now some choices and some options. And I love Dr.Trina Wiggins, the inventor of chocolate chalk, because she not only wants it to be aesthetically pleasing, she wants it to actually work for all of the work that, those of us that are circus performers or acrobats or stunt performers or gymnasts, whatever, kind of like your dynamic movement trade is, like she wants it to work. So she wants it to, she wants to know, like, and she did her own research. She experimented with it so thoroughly, which again, you can hear about that in the Circuspreneur podcast episode with Dr.Trina Wiggins. She's also a pediatrician, and she's a former collegiate gymnast herself, and was a trailblazer as the first Black gymnast at Stanford University. So we go through her whole lineage, and then, her experimenting of what got her to chocolate chalk. And again, just because it's called chocolate chalk doesn't mean that it's only for chocolate lovely skin tones. It's for everyone. And so, again, I love that she wants feedback in terms of what does this feel like. You know, for me personally, when I'm working solo and solo hand balancing, I actually don't use like a lot of chalk. If the environment is pretty like moderate and settled, if I'm in environments that are like super warm, you know, where, you know, maybe I'm perspiring a little bit more or I'm sweating a little bit more, obviously that's when I go to chalk because I have very smooth canes. I also have black canes, and so anything that I put on my hands shows up really fast on, you know, on my canes. And so, you know, it's really interesting to see, you know, this product in a darker skin tone, a darker tone, and how it reflects, you know, on surfaces and on costumes and on different parts of my skin. Now, when I'm doing my acro duo, we use a ton of usually like liquid chalk. And you know, I kind of look a little iridescent when we use that. And for those of us with, you know, a darker skin tone is something that we're always thinking about. And not even just in terms of that. I mean, it gets on my costumes. And again, there's been some really revolutionary products out there as well that have shifted over the years that I've seen, you know, competing and then going into circus and stuff. And again, like I said, it's gotta work. It's gotta, like, you know, it's gotta work good in your duo. It has to make us stick together better, you know, because again, it doesn't come down to only how it looks, but I also too can understand that everyone is so different. One product that works for like one acrobatic duo or one circus performer that they might love, you know, another performer may not really like it, might not really get the job done for them. You know, I have like a drier hands, and so for me, like a little bit of chalk goes a very long way, but other people have really soft and moist hands, you know, they sweat a lot more, all of those things, and so they might need a really aggressive version of chalk. You know, so again, like in working with partners for so many years, we've always gone, again, for the person that needs it the most, but to counter that with, like, you know, like how my body reacts to chalk and things like that, you know, I've been relatively lucky of not having to use so much, but I definitely know the feeling of washing, you know, something out or seeing it projected on camera afterwards in a live performance or even a demo where you're like, you know, I wish that maybe we could have had like a muted color on there, or just not see as much of it, even though, again, like I said, these are still really great and incredible products, and you know, in certain situations there's only as far as you can go. So I know I'm talking a lot before I get to the reaction, but I did want to give a really thorough feedback of chocolate chalk and my experience with it and take you through the different steps. So I'm just gonna put some on here. I've got my little packet. It also has her logo on there, chocolate chalk, which is so sweet and pretty. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it's going to feel and the texture, and in opening the little packets, which is really lovely. Hope that everyone can see that there too. And then showing again, the consistency is, yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Like the way that it feels. On the hands, you get that little a little smoke cloud on there. You can see a little bit on my hands. Yeah, it's a really interesting texture. I like it. Should probably do that on camera. I know everyone's laughing at me right now in terms of like how will I do my reaction video. But I think it's so cool and so great. And I wanted to, you know, show just what it looks like on my skin tone, which this one is interesting. Yeah, I think this is a nice color for my skin tone, actually. This is the lighter one. This is the cinnamon chocolate. And if you can see, it looks, you know, really nice. And it feels good. It feels very chalky. It feels, yeah, it feels really smooth and very absorbent, I think. That's maybe the word. So let's get on these canes really quick and see what my tricks feel like. Wow, that's cool. Oh, wow. I have to say as well, like for as much as I used of the chocolate chalk, right now, and maybe some will even show up on my clothes so you can see that. Perfect. That's what I wanted also too, for everyone to see. What it looks like on clothes, what it looks like on costumes, and it actually didn't leave that much residue on my black canes, which is really cool. I love that part of it. Like I said, my canes are usually like flexing white, and I've even seen, you know, again, like the white chalk flex white on people that have like more like, you know, a lighter tone of canes as well, which, you know, it all matters when you're performing, you know, in the circus, and, you know, down to aesthetics. That's just like so important to all of us once you like get out of competition, even though it's also too important to competition, but just different environments, different purposes. We're like used to be covered like from head to toe in gymnastics chalk, and it's just, you know, it's almost like not even a thing after a certain point, because you just need it, and you need so much of it. But you know, I didn't lose too much of it when I did my tricks right now, and it felt really solid. It felt nice. It feels dry, which is what I really, really, really like. The whole purpose, you know, I feel like my blocks were a bit drier, and there was like some good gripability there, which again, my canes, because they're smooth and because they're painted, are like super slippery. Anyone that ever touches them, you know, feels like they're just like, they're a very, very, very smooth block. Which is, you know, it's something that I'm just like really, really used to. So I'm gonna clear off really quickly and then go on to the next color, which is super exciting to try. This is going to be the mocha chocolate. The mocha chocolate. Chocolate Chalk by Dr.Trina Wiggins. No matter what part you're tuning in on this video, which is super exciting. I'm loving doing this reveal right now. I haven't done many like real-time reaction videos, so this is like really great for me to try this. Again, I love these little packets that they come in, and Dr. Trina said as well that she's working on block form, because obviously like a lot of collegiate gymnasts love, you know, using chalk in block form. You know, we all kind of like have our little things, like circus people, you know, we love carrying it around like in a little tube when it's like, you know, the traditional maybe like liquid chalk, which I feel like that's probably something that's going to be coming from her too. Can you imagine liquid chalk in all these different shades? How beautiful would that be? Okay, so here is this one. Trying, and this is the darker skin tone. Like I said, you know, throughout the year, my color as a brown girl changes. And like I said, it comes down to even lighting, you know. Sometimes I look just really different depending on how I'm lit. Sometimes I look more like my natural skin tone. Sometimes I look way lighter to people. Sometimes I flex a bit darker, you know, depending on like lighting capabilities. And, you know, it just, sometimes it depends, and sometimes you don't have any control over that either. So again, all the things that we think of as like brown performers or brown gymnasts, you know, or those of us that have like, you know, different skin tones. This is cool. So this is the darker one. And as you can see, like, even though it's the darker one, I think it still reflects on me pretty nicely, actually, you know. You can see, I think I'm gonna put on a little bit more, just so you can get like a sense of what it's like. And it comes out in like chalk, you know, like in like little pellets, and little circular pellets. And you got to kind of break it down. I got a little chalk cloud going on there. But I'm not sure if you can see that in camera, but I wanted to put on a little bit more, just so you can get a sense of, you know, what it looks like on my skin. And look at that. You actually can't even see it, really, on my skin, which is pretty amazing, because normally if it's like regular, you know, traditional gymnastics chalk, I mean, I would just be white head to toe, you know, have a, you know, big arm print here or hand. However, my partner, you know, is holding me, or I'm touching myself, you know, when I'm performing my solo hand balancing. So this is the darkest, this is the darker tone that I'm using. Obviously, it shows up the most reflected on my skin tone on my hands, which I think is, you know, still like really pretty. There you can see it doesn't actually come off that much onto my my costume, my little set. So that's also cool, but if you can see as well is that like even on my arms, you can't see it at all. This would be like your biggest indication that I have something on my hands if you're looking. So we're gonna use this one too. We're gonna go and do another trick, which I'm excited. And it's nice to see. Again, there is not a ton of residue on my black canes, which I think is just like so cool, right? There's not a ton of residue at all. And yeah, it's strong, it's drying, but not overly so. I think that's another thing too that a lot of us don't like, is that chalk can be super, super drying, and this feels really good. And I want to see as well, like, how does that feel on like my overall hands? It still feels kind of silky and smooth, but again, not overly so, because the whole point is to be able to have, you know, more gripability, like Dr. Trina, you know, Wiggins talks about in our podcast episode on the Circuspreneur podcast. And so she went through so many different experiments to produce this product, and I was super excited to, you know, give my feedback and my reaction. If there's questions you feel like I actually didn't answer in this reaction video, if you can leave them in the comments below wherever I'm posting this, and then I will answer them in the comments, because like in real time I'm just looking at it kind of like how it feels, and I might even have like some, you know, follow-up comments too about like how I feel about chocolate chalk and using it for the first time. But you know, it also too doesn't have really even a smell to it. There's not really a scent to it, which is also kind of nice. Some of the other ones, I know they can be a little bit like alcohol-y in smelling. Obviously, that's more or less like the liquid chalks. You know, I'm not sure how it tastes, but I'm sure it's quite holistic, because if you know Dr. Trina Wiggins, you know, she's a very clean doctor. And has a really, you know, kind of clean philosophy about ingredients and you know, with respect to toxins and stuff as well. Again, all the things that she speaks about in her Circuspreneur podcast episode. So this was so great. Again, another close-up, my reaction video for Dr. Trina Wiggins chocolate chalk, and I tried the mocha chocolate, and I also tried the cinnamon chocolate. And again, this is like a product for all skin tones. I'm excited to continue to keep using it. I might do another video with my with an acro partner to see, you know, how it feels like when we're, you know, heavily sweating and, you know, in a routine or in an act, and what that's kind of like when two bodies combine. And the, you know, interesting thing is, you know, most of the time my partners are Eastern European, so, you know, I would probably have cinnamon chocolate and and, you know, and for them, like, you know, blonde chocolate or the caramel chocolate would probably be something for their skin tone. So, you know, that's also fun, and seeing, you know, even the dynamic, you know, differences in skin tone for duos, you know, and kind of how that could work, and who could use what, which I think is really, really interesting and really lovely that, again, there's so much representation in this product. And again, I really like it. I think it's great. I think it's so innovative. It's something that, you know, again, I thought would never be created, something that I've never seen, because I haven't seen anyone really put any, you know, this type of effort into creating something like this. And again, for all of us that grew up as gymnasts, that have photos throughout our entire competitive career where it's like you don't even see us, you see like the white that's just like covering all of our bodies, you know, instead of our form, or instead of, you know, like our natural skin tone. This is like just, I think, really, really cool. And I hope that it's reflected great in the video and in the coloring. And yeah, I wanted to give like some thorough feedback, and you know, thank you again to Dr. Trina Wiggins for putting in the effort for this really cool, innovative product. I'm sure it'll just continue to take on a beautiful life of itself. And you can follow Dr. Trina Wiggins. She's tagged obviously in this video to get more information, and then follow the link to her website where you can connect about all the updates for Chocolate Chalk. And you know, try it out for yourself in your gym, in your circus space, in your physio clinic, and your climbing school, in your stunts, in, you know, a variety of spaces that use chalk. I'm sure there's even more that I haven't said. Acro yoga, obviously, one of those you know, really great mediums where, you know, folks need this to, you know, stay in contact and stay in tune. So thank you again for tuning in to this reaction video for Dr. Trina Wiggins Chocolate Chalk. It's fantastic, and I hope you enjoy using it, and yeah, providing your feedback as well.